Good day and welcome to Rio Grand Current News, where we'll be bringing you that local and global news. Coming to you from our studio in Amexem, Morocco, El Maghreb, Granak Nouak, Atlantis, Turtle Island, Lemuria, where the political zone known as Texas, aka the Rio Grande Valley, operates. Your local and local conspiracy theorist and truth seeker, Sir Soul, coming to you live. Today we will be speaking on your local weather, and we will be seeing that we will be experiencing 91-degree weather, as well as for the rest of the week again 91-degree weather. Except for Wednesday, we might be experiencing a slight rain, which brings into question much of this very pleasant weather we've been experiencing, having grown up in the area. We did not get used to experiencing this type of weather this late in summer. We're used to usually 100-degree weather, which is definitely seems a little strange, but I definitely will take it and accept it. But at the same time, taking into account that this might potentially be a sign of weather patterns changing or taking effect or being affected in other areas, which brings us to our reporting on high levels of heat being felt and seen in California, which is experiencing heavy droughting, as well as in the lower southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, experiencing very high 130-degree weather, as well as forest fires being experienced in some of these areas, especially California, which then brings us to question some of these forest fires being felt in Canada, almost double to triple the amount that was used to being felt in other years, and seeing that these fires are damaging many areas and also causing the plumes of smoke to travel for many thousands of miles. Now these thousands of miles that they're traveling at points seems with some normalcy, but there is some strangeness to them because of certain scientific evidence and research that has already been proven and has been found that would help cause a cooling effect on the earth if this were to travel further up north into the Arctic Circle. Now we are seeing torrential raining in China as well as in Europe, but curiously the technology that might be causing some of this damage is also being already openly used in Dubai to create rain, where they have been experiencing much drought, and Iran has had come out on many platforms and accuse many of countries in the West of stealing Iran's rain, which makes you wonder if this is a crazy claim or maybe something that the Iranian officials know about certain technologies being applied around the world. We will report further to you on this geoengineering operations, which are said to be taking place, and we will be showing further evidence of this. If others find evidence on the contrary, we are willing to hear it, and as well as present the challenge, because at the end of the day, the importance is seeking the truth and getting to the bottom of it at a communal level where we can all come together and be able to at least agree on some consensus based on evidence and scientific method being applied. So we will report further on this information, but one thing to be said is that if we don't turn back, many researchers say soon, and I mean extremely soon, we already are looking at being way past the turning point, 20, 30, 40 years possibly, and even if we were to turn back, many of these things would take possibly hundreds of thousands of years to be able to reverse. So it is definitely something to look into, and we will be reporting on this further to you in the future. Today we'll be reporting on technologies that are being introduced or have already had application in many of the health agencies that have been using and researching these technologies. One of these being graphene. Graphene being a creation from graphite being shaved or brought down to its nanoparticulate level, which was found to be able to contain if you would, a magnetic or electrical quality because it was a superconductor. And because of this ability, they've been able to find and create nanobots by creating sheets that are coated with graphene on both sides, and by being able to have different origamic penetrations or permeations. This would create agitations when light or certain frequencies are introduced, allowing this nanobot to travel. And one of the modes or one of the reasons for this research is to be able to provide treatments for many of humanity's ailments, which is usually the understanding. But usually, again, being adults, we got to understand that this might be a double-edged sword, per se, that this graphene might as well be used to harm humanity. Not to say that this is what's actually going on, but it's definitely something that we want to investigate and research, which we will be doing. However, getting back to the graphene, this graphene has been able to be used to create these nanobots that are smaller than the width of a human hair, and many could fit in a syringe. And they have a magnetic quality once introduced through hydrogen, which is in our body in the abundance, which then brings into question many anomalies that are now being possibly experienced. However, coming back to these technologies that are being pitched to humanity as many forms of treatments that could potentially also cause irreversible damage at the potential scale, but in the future it could be something that we could use. However, one thing to bring into question or understanding is that would there be the potential that Mother Nature had already provided a backdoor treatment to this, or even provided the potential without the aid of technology and creating genetic nanobots or genetic material that's all born out of technological invention without any actual organic input, could potentially in itself cause a degradation or a problem in humanity, seeing how humanity has been using its immune system for several millennia, and that has been helping humanity for the most part be able to thrive and survive. So definitely we would want to look into further into some of these technologies being brought out, not only the graphene, but even some of these other technologies being brought out with nanotechnology, even if we want to look at that as what's being called smart dust, and many of these things that they've talked about being able to spray into the air, or not only into the air, but to be able to create things from an atomic level, seeing how they already have the potential to be able to move atoms at an atomic level around, and are looking at into the potential of being able to build things from an atomic level of whatever they might conceive of creating from an atomic level. And it's only up to their imaginations at that point to create, and seeing how the moral compass is almost lost in that environment. It's no say what could be found or done, which is in the reason why we're bringing up the topic and questioning this specific issue, because it seems almost like a lot of these technologies and things being presented to us and how they're being shown to us almost seem to have a very altruistic, almost utopic quality to it, like technology is going to be the solve-all and cure-all for everything. However, this could just be a Trojan horse, if you would, or actually the shadow quality to what's actually being presented and said. So we definitely got to tread cautiously and do our due diligence to do the research and find out the truth behind this, and we'll be doing our best to present you some of what we found and you can leave some of what you've researched and found on the bottom to comment. And we would definitely like to learn and hear more from all of us to come together on a common ground, to be able to speak intellectually and be able to actually listen to each other's different opinions without getting too emotionally involved or upset to the point where we shut off. So to future reportings and other things coming to you real soon. And before we leave today, we don't want to leave you in a disbalanced perspective. We definitely want to bring more balance to this reporting by providing you some positive avenues for you to be able to not think of our current situation as an apocalyptic or world-ending situation, but actually maybe as a situation that is wanting or needing individuals to take up a stand to be able to defend integrity or honesty, but not going off too much into that subject, going back into those practices for us to be able to do on our daily basis to be able to help us inspire and motivate and bring about more prosperity and abundance into our lives. One in particular being breathing exercises. Breathing exercises are an amazing exercise or practice that we can take every day. It takes a few minutes that would help us balance not only our mind but our emotions and our body, and be able to quiet some of our internal chatter emotions that sometimes need a little bit of addressing, to be able to bring balance to other things that we might be experiencing through different ailments or other things going on with our body. And also understanding that breathing is essentially the essence of spirit, and spirit being basically what you would consider spirituality, then we could consider breathing exercises being almost like a cornerstone to spirituality, which is something definitely to consider. And we'll provide a little bit of links and people that you could definitely follow that might have some of your own already that you practice and we would like to hear about. Definitely, I'm always looking for things to investigate and research, even if it's opposing to my perspective, because I don't have a problem with looking at information. It's not my perspective, because at the end of the day I'm trying to get to the final truth, which is, in all honesty, all that we should all want, because that would help us all come together on the same page. So going into these breathing exercises are very important to help bring some mental, physical, and emotional hygiene practices into our daily practice per day. Also some vitamins that I heard that would definitely looking into and would like to pique your interest into researching about would be vitamin C, D, zinc, and quercetin. All of these having different and amazing properties. Zinc in itself helping in autoimmune or in immune responses, specifically with the cell in use with quercetin. Quercetin being the color usually we find on food, much of the colorful food that gives it its antioxidant abilities. That and zinc together are awesome blockbuster for the cell to be able to use to combat many of the things that are trying to attack it, and for it to be able to have an advantage. Now, it is interesting that quercetin is essentially the color in vegetables, seeing how color is one of those things that our body also consumes when we eat food. It just does not consume the physical aspect of food. It also consumes the color and the energy of food, which is interesting, seeing how our body is made up not only of physical material but also light material, and it encompasses those 7 frequencies of light seen. So then we also have to feed those color bandwidths, if you would, with nutrition. So another one of these would be glutathione, which is considered to be a master antioxidant. Now, glutathione can also be provoked to be created by your body by using the supplement known as N-acetylcysteine, and these supplements, glutathione and N-acetylcysteine, with the others, have also been found to be able to help individuals that have taken the current treatment that's out there that's causing individuals to maybe be magnetized or have electrical qualities, or even maybe none of those, but feeling a little bit downness, or even just as a safety precaution, because at the end of the day, these things are only going to help your natural immunity. But it's also been found to maybe to be able to degrade graphene, and that's very important, because that is maybe one of the avenues of the things that is being put into the treatment that is currently being provided, along with many other things that we'll be reporting in the future. However, we always want to provide you a positive outlet and something for you to be able to use to help you in your route and not leave you just with the problems in your hands. We want to provide something to balance that out. So these vitamins would definitely be something to look into, and I hope I piqued your interest for you to look into them. And before I leave you, I just want to say definitely want to look into also speaking abundance into your life as soon as you wake up in the early rising of the stellar sun. It moves across the sky, just giving us that nourishment and abundance. Speaking that positivity into your daily lifestyle to create the magnetism, not just the magnetism, but also the potential for you to bring about all the things that you want to conceive of and dream of. Thank you for tuning in today to Rio Grand Current News, and as always, smile big, Rio Grande, as it's your life and you want to live it big. So stay tuned for future episodes coming to you real soon. Thank you, and see you soon again.